here's some sort of a polynomial. Here's what you're going to divide it by. It'll say to use synthetic division. We talked about factors last time.
Mm-hmm.
Does this kind of look familiar to you?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Fantastic, excuse me. So do you remember what goes in the box here when you're doing synthetic division? Which
Um,
number?
would it be 2?
So it's actually what makes the factor equal to zero. What number makes
So it'd be
the factor
positive
equal to zero?
5.
Yes. All right. So now, and you're right. So the coefficients do come down next. All right. Do you remember how to do polynomial division? Do you want to try giving me the numbers that work this out on your own and letting me know what this last line ends up being?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you'd bring down the 2 and then you'd multiply them to get 10 under the
Okay,
11, and then you'd have -1,
good.
and then you'd multiply that to get -5, and then add to get 4, and then multiply to get 20.
Okay. So what is the final number, I guess?
So it would be 2x squared.
No, what did you get in the last position here? Because that's
Oh,
important. We want to
0.
zero, and that's important. So when you get a remainder of zero, okay, that means that the factor worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're right. You're about to give me the new polynomial, 2x squared minus 1x plus 4. All right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Okay, very good. I believe you. I definitely believe you understand how to do that. So let's try something a little bit more complicated here. So here is a new problem for us to look at. All right, can you tell me what number goes in the box here, please?
-3,
Okay, and then what are the coefficients?
1, and then 5, -6, and then 3.
All right, so you're missing one. And you're like, what do you mean I'm missing one? Well, there's really a 0 n squared there.
Okay.
So that's important. That's something you would see on a test or a quiz. Um, you would be like, wait, why did I get it wrong? Um, it it's easy to miss. So just be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and work this out and tell me if it's a remainder of 0 or not, please.
Okay. It wouldn't be.
Let's take a look here. So should get -6, 18, 12. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what you have?
Yeah.
All right. So very good. Um, looks like feel like pretty strongly like you've got that down. Um, so the like where we left off the other day, and let me go look for a problem for us to work on. Um, yeah, here's one. So let's say, so it's kind of related to what we just did. Let's say I tell you f of x equals minus 2x cubed plus 14x plus 12. Can I tell you that a factor is x plus one? And the question, like we're going to do this in steps, but it might ask you for the factored form. Like that might be
Mm-hmm.
what we're ultimately looking for.
Yeah.
And it's related to everything we just did. Like you've got to see if you can find the other factors through synthetic division. So
Yeah.
I'd like you to do the synthetic division here and let me know what you come up with.
Okay. And would there be a zero in there or
Yes.
no?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Good, good. And that's why I chose this one for that reason.
And would it go between the 2 and 14 or 14 and
Yes.
12?
So what some students do is they actually write it out with with
Mm-hmm.
the missing one to make sure that
Okay.
they don't forget it. I used to do that. It's a good practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just step away for 30 seconds, but I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
All right, I am back. Any questions for me on this or any answers for me to check?
Okay. I got 2x squared plus 2x plus 12.
Like this when you're all done?
Yeah.
All right, so let me take a look here. So you're bringing down the -2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be -2. I don't, maybe you didn't say that, but
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
okay. The rest of it looks good. Um, Now, what is the very first type of factoring that you're supposed to do? Do you remember that from earlier in the course? It's kind of a hierarchy or an order.
Um, do we have to find the two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 2?
That's only true if there's a one in front here.
Oh, okay.
So that the very first thing you do is you look for a GCF. In this case, is there a number that goes into all three of these?
It would be 2.
Two. And actually it's -2 because you don't want the leading one to be negative. They call this divide and slide. Can you tell me
Okay.
what goes inside parentheses there, please?
X squared plus X.
But you got a positive and a negative.
Oh, minus X
Okay. And then what's the last one?
and plus negative 12 or negative 6.
Which one?
The 12 over minus 2. Oh, so it'd be
I'm putting you on the spot. It's more for your benefit. I already know the answer. I want to get you to commit to something here.
minus 6.
Good, good. Now you're looking for what you just said. Two numbers that multiply to the last but add to the middle. What is the middle number that's not written?
Negative 1.
Yeah. Let's see if you can come up with those, please.
Okay. Um, would it be -2 and 3?
Do those add to -1?
Oh, they add a +1, so
Okay, so is there another set of numbers that work? Like you're really close, it's 1, you just want -1. How can you get -1 out of those two numbers?
-3 plus 2.
There you go. So tell me what goes inside the parentheses now.
It'd be x minus 3 and x plus 2.
Very good. Okay, so I feel like we should actually look really quickly at factoring, just detecting a little bit of uncertainty in that regard. We're going to go through the 3 cases of factoring,
Okay.
and hopefully it will get you caught up here in no time. All right. We don't want that one. Don't want that one. Oh boy. Okay, so here is the first category grouping of problems. And we're looking at a very specific type of factoring. It's called A equals 1. It's the leading coefficient is 1. Okay. And within this, there's 3 sub cases. The first one is the plus, plus, plus. Okay.
Mhm.
So you're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 72, but add to positive 17. So one way to do this is to sit here and just start writing them out until you come up with them. And I'm okay with that. You could
Okay.
also grab a calculator and guess and check. I don't particularly care how you do this one, but I'd like you to give this one a try, please.
Okay.
How are you doing on this one?
I'm still I'm still trying to find factors.
Okay. Did you try 4 and 18?
No.
Okay. So you got to go in order, right? Like you can't just, you're not, it's, they're kind of, that's what's trying to show you here is there's kind of like a path here, like, well, now try 5. Does 5 work? Okay, 5 didn't work. 6, does 6 work? Yeah, 6 works. If you got a calculator, you can say, okay, what's 72 divided by 6?
Mhm. Would it be 8 and 9?
Yes. So what goes in parentheses here?
X plus 8 and X plus 9. Or
It's
A
actually
plus
A,
8.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
can see the different letter. And you had to go all the way to the middle. And that's the only thing that's really challenging about this case is the fact that I'm going to make the numbers a little bit bigger. Let's have you try one more of these before we move on to the next case. This is the case where both answers are positive.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's do one more here. 8 squared plus 15h plus 56.
It'd be X plus 8 and X plus 7.
Yeah, h plus 7, h plus 8. Very good. All right, so the next case is a lot like this one. The answers are both negative this time. It's minus plus, and here it goes to they're both negative inside parentheses.
Okay.
So multiplies to 32, but adds to negative 12. So give that a try. Please let me know what you come up with.
Okay. It'd be A minus 8 and A minus 4.
Good. Now let me make one just a tiny bit. You have a calculator handy?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's up to you if you want to use it. I'm not anti-calc or anything. I just um, you may need one for this one. So get this one right, and we'll move on to the last two cases, which are the harder ones we were working on before.
Um, F minus 12 and F minus 15.
Very good. Okay, so what's the hardest part about these?
I think just finding all the factors.
Yeah, so these are the easy two cases. The next two types are more difficult. Basically, they're where you're gonna have one positive and one negative. All right, so there's two possibilities here. It's like it's either gonna be both minus
Hmm.
or it's gonna be a plus and then a minus. But in both cases, you're gonna get one plus and one minus. So you're looking
Okay.
for two numbers that multiply to minus 45, but add -4 in this case.
Okay.
See if you can find those numbers, please.
Would it be h plus 5 and h minus 9?
I'm so sorry. I was muted there for a second. What I was saying here is that you were correct. Very good. If you ever get where like you get like 4 instead of -4, you know to just flip the signs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. Let's try another one here. This is again one positive and one negative.
B plus 10 and B minus 5.
Very good. All right. Awesome. All right, so let's do one more here, and then we'll switch to we'll do another type of factoring here, and then we'll get on some piecewise stuff.
A plus 9 and A minus 10.
Very good. All right. You've convinced me that you definitely understand this now, which is great. So well done on that. Now, here is another type of factoring that you might see. So here's a problem, and you're looking at it, you're like, well, I really want a 1 there, but there's not a 1 there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the very first type of factoring you're always supposed to do is a GCF.
Yeah.
So is there a number that goes into all 3 of these numbers?
6.
6. So if you divide and slide here, tell me what this becomes.
Okay. It'd be y squared minus y, or yeah, minus y, and then minus 2.
Okay, very good. And so now you have to say, oh, I know how to factor that. You're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to -2, but add to +1. -1, sorry, -1.
And then it'd be y minus 2 and y plus 1.
Yes. But don't forget to bring that 6 down.
Okay.
So that's your final answer. Like that's what we want to see if we're grading this here.
Okay.
All right. So here's one for you to try on your own, please. Give me the fully factored form here.
Okay, I got m squared minus 5m minus 24, and then I'm trying to find the factors.
Okay, there certainly are two numbers that multiply to minus 24, but add to -5.
So it'd be m minus 3 and m plus 8.
So does that multiply to -24? Do those multiply to -24?
Mm-hmm.
Do they add to -5?
Oh, no, not -5.
Okay, so how should we change it?
Switch the sign, so it'd be -8 and 3.
Okay. Anything else you want to do here to change this last line? Anything maybe you're
Let me add
missing?
the 2 in front.
Very good. All right. Let's try one more here. Let's see here. Yeah, won't go crazy. Just get a. All right, so last one before we move on, we'll sneak in some piecewise stuff here.
It would be v plus 1 and v minus 2,
Is that your final answer?
and then the 4 in front.
Yeah. Okay. I will accept that. Now there's more factoring to do. We have not covered everything, so don't think like, oh, I've got it now. But we've done enough that we can probably move on here to something else. Okay, so let's take a look at a piecewise function here. So piecewise literally means pieces. So let's say it's something like 1 minus 2x for x less than 0. And actually, that's not very good. Let's do this 1. And then 2x squared minus 5 for x greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so this is the kind of piecewise stuff that you're thinking about.
Yeah, and I really struggled with it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're gonna get you're gonna get solid here. So first thing I want you to do is see if you can tell me what f of -1 is. F of -1. And I'm kind of curious what kinds of questions you have. So I'm gonna wait to see what you ask me, or if you just want to try to do it, that's fine too. Um,
Would I plug in the -1 for x?
Well, there's this X, 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 right? We gotta be a little bit more specific here.
Yeah.
Which piece are you going to use?
So the top one. So would I
Why?
plug?
Why? Why the top one? That's the real question, critical question. What's that?
Because it's the first one.
Okay, that's an answer. All right, so there's actually a check here. Is -1 less than 1? Is this true or false?
Hmm.
Is this
It's
true or
true.
false? It is true, yeah. So, and now we don't need to try it in the next one, but I want you to see this. Is -1 greater than or equal to 1?
No.
False. So it will only be true, and you actually look at the domain first. Okay, so now,
Oh,
yes, you have to be able to put that -1 in for X in the first one.
oh, okay. So the first one would be -1.
So 1 minus 2 times -1, is that what you wrote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what happens when you have a double negative here? -2 times a -1.
That becomes positive.
Okay, so do you want to give me a new, better answer?
Oh, would it be +1? Or, oh, 3.
So you just said it. -2 times -1 is +2. What is 1 plus 2?
3.
Okay. All right. Now let's do the same thing here. Let's find f of 1. F of 1. Which piece is it true in?
The bottom one.
Why? Is
Because
1
1,
greater than?
yeah, they're equal.
That's correct. So put 1 in for X there and tell me what you come up with for a final answer, please.
Would it be -3?
All right, very good. So I'm gonna pull up a new piecewise function here. And I'm gonna have you find, I want you to find f of 1 and then f of -1 for me, please.
Okay. So f of 1 is 1 and f of -1 is -1.
That is correct. Very good. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, so it does get more difficult. Let's look at, and the most I think you guys saw was a three piece
Mhm.
wise function here. So can you let me have you find a few more of these things here. So hopefully you're getting the feel for it. You check, well, does it work in the first? Does it work in the second? Does it work in the third?
Mhm.
So I want you to find f of 3 for me. Which piece does that go in?
It'd be the middle one.
Okay, I agree. You want
Okay.
to
Should be 5.
go with 5. Good. What about f of -2?
It would be the top one.
Agreed. So what does that become?
-3.
It's -3. Very good. And how about f of 4?
It would be the middle one again,
Yeah, good.
and so it'd be 7.
I agree. Great. We definitely have that down. So the graphing is kind of the next thing with piecewise functions
Yeah.
that you might have seen. Maybe that's where you were struggling, but this is where we'll go from here. So let me see if I can find one. Now there's two types of problems. There's one where they give you the graph and you have to write the equation,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think a little easier to start with. So here's a graph, and I know it's really hard to, it's not as easy to see as it is on my screen, but there's two pieces here. There's some sort of a break point,
Mm-hmm.
break line, if you will. Um, Something like that. What's the
Yeah.
X value there for that break?
-1.
Okay, and how many pieces do you see in this one?
2.
Yeah, so there's one for less than one and one for greater than one, it's -1. Which one which one is the one you would use for -1? Would you use the left one or the right one?
The left one.
Yeah. Okay. Now you have to give me a word or words that describes like what this is and what this is.
Uh,
Like, is there like how would you describe that to someone that didn't know anything about math? There's like a word you could use.
function.
More simple than that. Um, like you were working with quadratics. This is not a on the right here. This is not a quadratic. But what's the name for it?
Um, like a parent function.
I'm just looking for the word line.
Oh, okay.
It's a line, and this is also a line. You remember the equation for a line?
Y equals mx plus b.
Yes. So mx plus b. Can you tell me the slope of this line over here on the right? You just got to count some squares.
Yeah, 4/1.
Okay. It's down 4 though, and right 1. Is that a
Oh,
positive or negative slope?
so -4.
Okay. And then I know it's hard for you to do on your screen, but you actually could 1, 2, 3, 4. You could actually extend the line to see where it crosses the x-axis.
Mm-hmm.
Where would it cross the x-axis there?
0, 0.
Yes. So what is the y-intercept there?
0, 0.
Yes. Uh, so b ends up being 0.
Okay.
All right. So now it's the same thing for the other one here. You've got to figure out the slope on the p-value.
3/1, but -3.
Okay. And then what's the intercept? Where does it cross?
Of -4.
All right. So try to tell me in your own words what we did here. Like what did we do to be able to make this piecewise function?
We had to find the y-intercept and the slope.
What did we do before that though? We didn't write this first. What did we write first?
We had to find the breaking point, so -1.
Yes. Very good. All right, and then we wrote the equation of the two lines.
Mhm.
Any questions, thoughts on that before we proceed?
No.
Okay. All right. It's always a challenge to find like incrementally more difficult examples. Okay, so here is one for you to try. Take 2 or 3 minutes if you need. If you can write the piecewise function for this one.
Yeah. For the left one, would it be x is less than -3?
So -3 is over, I don't know, x equals -3 is
Oh,
there.
and then +3.
Okay. So x less than 3.
Okay. And then, yeah. Would it be -4 plus -2
Or what?
for the left one? Because you plug in
So
-4.
so this is not, I mean, that's not an equation of a line. It's just two numbers. What did we use
-4
last?
x plus 2.
Okay. So what you just said, let me try to emphasize just so 2 means it crosses the y-axis at 2 and it's got a negative slope. So it looks something like that. Is that what your graph looks like?
No,
Okay. So it's a positive slope when it goes up and to the right. It is 4. Where does it cross the x-axis?
-2.
Sorry, the y-axis. Yes. -2. Good. Now, what's different about this line that I just circled? It is a line, but what kind of line is it?
It's straight.
It's a horizontal. All lines are straight. It's a horizontal line, we would say.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So horizontal lines have this form. It's y equals a number. And in this case, the number is however many squares up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is just that number there. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
So I detected a little bit of some issues with like just writing some stuff with lines and other things. So definitely want to go back and take a look at that. We are all at a time.